Parshat Chukat 5785. Limud shebi lerefuat kol hacholim, להצלחת כל החיילים, להשבת כל החטופים, ולחבר הלב והשכל. We know that this week is the parsha of Chukat. One appearance it's good to remember is that the Torah is divided between chukim u'mishpatim, chok v'mishpat. And we all have grown up on the clear difference. What is a chok? It's what we don't know the reason. And a mishpat is what we do know the reason. But I want to give an additional difference, that the word chok comes from an engravement, and the word mishpat comes from the word shofet, which means that a chok is internal and a mishpat is external. And one more thing before we connect it all together. Throughout all of Torah, every time the word chok u'mishpat appear, just like we said it now, chok is always before mishpat. The not known is before the known. And I think we can connect all three of these appearances. The first appearance, that a chok is known to be what we don't know the reason, mishpat is what we do know the reason. That a chok is what's internal, engraved, and the mishpat is from a shofet, which is what's external. It's the obligation of the leaders, so it's external, it's not the person himself. And the idea of the chok always being before the mishpat, I think it's one theme. Most of us think that the goal is to know, the goal is to understand. But what happens when we know? We shut, we close, we start judging and becoming elite. What happens when we don't know? We start to cry, we start to dance, we start to try, we start to put effort. And this celebration of chukat, of the chukim, is that what we don't know is more important than what we do know. And obviously there are things that we need to know once we realize this message. The entrance code is to know the chukim, to know that you're excited, that there are things that are question marks, that keep us open, that keep us involved, that don't give us all the answers. So therefore we have to go to class, and we have to run and think and be creative and innovative. And then, once we realize that that's our foundation, and we could start to know things so that we could share and control and live life to its full. But that's never the root, that's the addition. And therefore, as we go into Parshat Chukat, I want to give us a bracha that I was zocheh to take Tanya with me for the first time to Otef Aza. And it was so obvious that in the last years since the Holocaust, that's the ground of unknown. The ground of just feeling lost and shattered and seeing the dreams, as one of the volunteers said, and smiling and suddenly realizing, oh, they're not here, and then crying and realizing how much we don't know and how much is broken and how much is shattered and how much is so distant. And you could see how Tanya was celebrating people. She saw that on top of the cars it says Ve'ahavta. On top of the burned cars near Moshav Tkuma, it says Ve'ahavta. And she said, you know what, let's walk around and give people hugs. We went over to Chayalim from elite units that are secret, that are unknown. People don't know their names. And everyone walked around and was giving them hugs. And you saw that suddenly the unknown, the shattering, was something that we'll never understand. The chukim of the world will never understand. The tears of the world will never understand. But there is something that we could choose. Not to be afraid to realize that because of the unknown, we need to be excited to do more. We need to be excited to build more. We need to listen to Orel, who was there mamash in Sderot, in the Tachanat Mishtrara, in the Tachanat Mada, treating all of his friends, saying, we're an Am Kilavi, that we're a strong and special and unique nation, and that we have to embrace through the unknown to realize that it's not meant to pull us down, but it's meant to make us know that yes, there are things that we'll never understand, but that what we can do is not stop. What we can do is build strong.